Hi guys, I don't have a lot to show you today other than my old mini disc recorder that I'm going to troubleshoot at some point. I'm not going to do it today. I just figured I'd show it to you. This one's got a major problem. My loaded disc, it's just going to say table of contents reading, and then it's going to eject the disc. The disc does not spin up, doesn't attempt to read it, so either we have a laser problem or we have a spindle motor problem or maybe even a problem in the servo circuitry, but it's not reading the disc. So I just figured to show you this thing. This was another format that Sony brought out a number of years ago. It's now pretty much an obsolete format. This is the mechanism here. And basically how it works, if I show you one of the discs, I've got the cover open on this one here. It's an optical disc. Right, it's got the, whoops, the cover slid shut there. It's got the bottom side of the disc and it's got the top side of the disc. And basically how this works is it's called a magneto-optical. And how a magneto-optical disc works, it works on the magnetic ability of metals to memorize or be magnetized with heat. And basically what it does is it turns on a high power laser which will heat up the, as you notice, the bottom surface of the disc is kind of dark, so it will attract the heat. It heats up the metal to what they call the Curie temperature, which will remove any magnetic memory, for lack of better words, stored in the metal. And then there's what resembles a regular head from, I can't show it to you because there's a plate in place here, but there's a head right underneath here which resembles the head on a hard drive, which is positioned over the top of the disc when it's in record mode. And that head encodes either a north or a south going polarity. It's a magnetic head, much like you'd find in a tape recorder or a hard drive. And this head moves across the disc as it records, directly underneath the spot that the laser is heating up to about, I think it's about 400 degrees Celsius if I remember the papers I read on it many years ago. And of course, as soon as the surface of the disc moves away from the laser spot, it cools and it locks in whatever magnetic state the head was recording on it, either it being a north or a south polarity. Now on playback, the laser is used, but it's running at a low power and it's able to detect a phase change. The light phase is changed depending on whether the magnetic layer above it is a north or a south pole. It creates a phase change in the light coming back. And that's the principle to how MiniDisc operated. You could record multiple times because the laser would just go into the high power mode again, which would basically erase the disc in one step, and the magnetic head that's hovering above on the top side would imprint a new magnetic field, either north or south. That's simplifying it, very simple on how this operates. And I'm going to try and get this thing going. As I say, I'm going to make a video when I start working on this thing. I'm not going to work on it right now, but that is a future project that I'd like to get my mini disc recorder once again working. Hey guys, I know I said I'm not going to repair this thing today, but one thing I am going to try before putting it back together and putting it on the shelf until God knows when is I'm going to try cleaning the laser lens, which is down here. So I just got my Q-tip and I'm just going to wipe off the surface of the lens, because this unit's been sitting in storage for a very long time and it hasn't been used in quite a few years. So it's possible that just an accumulation of dust has clouded the lens and preventing it from reading. I'm also going to give it a shot of compressed air. And we're going to try this thing one more time and see if it reads the disc. So now the moment of truth. I'm going to load my mini disc. I get the welcome message, table of contents reading. Oh, I see something happening. It's moving. I just read the table of contents. Let's see if this sucker plays. got headphones plugged in because I don't have it plugged into my amplifier. But there you go. That was the problem with this MiniDisc recorder. It turned out that the only problem was that the laser lens got a layer of dust on it just from sitting. Again, another really bad design of Sony, because you would think that they would have a shield or something over it, you know, to keep the thing from getting dirty when there's no disc in it, but that's not the case on these machines. There it is. It's working. We can go to the next track here. If I can remember how to work this thing here. AMS, that's how you do it. Yeah, look at that. It even tells you the name of the song. Very good. So there you go. That's my MiniDisc player. I didn't think the fix was going to be anywhere near that easy. I was having visions that I was going to be having to spend some time on this thing and sit down and really scratch my head. But sometimes things that seem to be really complicated are actually quite simple. So now we're going to hook this thing up to an audio source, find a blank disc. I'm sure I've got a few of those kicking around, and see if it'll actually record, and we'll show you that if it works. See, there's a reason I wanted to get this thing, even this disc that says FUBAR doesn't record, but it actually has been recorded on. There's a reason I wanted to get this thing going, is because I have quite a stack of mini discs that I've collected over the years. I have like literally dozens of these things, and dozens of them. I used to use these pretty much exclusively. That and digital audio tape. I had a MiniDisc player in my car back in the, I guess this would be the 90s, when these were popular. And I recorded, instead of recording on a cassette, I did everything on MiniDisc. So I've got all these discs, and I've got some really good stuff recorded on them. And of course, without a MiniDisc player, it's pretty impossible to play some of this great old music that I've recorded from, you know, various sources. Most of it off radio or off of like music services like Music Choice or something. This was all recorded before you could download stuff off the internet. This was all off of off of satellite music or something. But I've got literally dozens of discs. So that was the prime reason I was really interested in getting this thing going, and it just shows you how simple that some of these things are. Now I'm going through these discs. I'm looking for a disc that has music on it that I don't mind erasing, because I really would like to test it out and see if it records. But as of yet, I got too many good discs here that are bringing back a lot of memories of stuff that I recorded many years ago, and I'm just very happy that I'm able to play it back. But as soon as I find a disc that I can record on, I'm going to show you guys how this thing records. I've got it hooked up to my amplifier now. I'm going to find an audio source, and we'll do some recording on it momentarily. Here's a disc. Here's a disc that I had recorded, and what I used to do is I used to just plug this thing into my satellite receiver and set it on one of the music channels and let it record the entire disc. And then what the neat thing was, you could go back and you could edit it later. So when I recorded the disc, it would record the whole, like I'd record a full 60-minute or 74-minute disc all in one go. And then I could go back, and I'll show you these things can be edited. So I'm going to do an edit, because everything's all in one track on this. All the music flows together as one track. So what you can do on here is you can split tracks. So like when the song fades, I'm looking at the counter here and I'm looking for when the next one starts. Next song will start at what, about 41, 42, somewhere in here. Waiting for the song to start. There it goes. Starts at 44. So I can roll back a bit. And I know it starts at 44, so I'm going to edit it before then. So I'll go to maybe 42, and I think if I press the edit button up here, erase, no. I can scroll, erase, no. Divide, I want to divide the track, so I say yes. Whoops, sorry. Why did it say sorry? Okay, what my mistake was I've tried to do it from the pause mode, and you actually have to enter the mode while you are in play. So now it goes and says position okay, rehearsal. Yes, this is okay. So I press the yes button here, complete. Now I've created a second track. So if I want to divide another track, I can just scan ahead. So I want to, and it looks like it's going to be about 502. So 503, so I'm going to back up a bit here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit edit, divide track. Yes, rehearsal. It's going to position okay. No. Go back a bit, and it can take me back a few seconds, right? That looks okay, right? That looks okay there. A little more. That sounds like that's going to be okay. Rehearsal. Let me go back just a little more just to make sure I don't cut off the beginning of the song. Yeah, that's good. Yes, complete. So now track 3. And that is that's how you edit a mini disc after it's been recorded. And that's one of the strengths of this format, was you could just record and just play the radio or whatever. You could go and you could edit out commercials, and you could edit you could divide tracks after the fact. It was really quite a cool format. And you know, I mean, Sony really had a winner with this thing, even though the reliability wasn't the best, but they had a winner with it. But the problem was it was too little too late. Cassette tape was too well established, and recordable CDs hit the market shortly after a mini disc was released. I think had mini disc been released a couple years earlier, before recordable CDs became popular, then mini disc probably would have fared a lot better than it did. But with recordable CDs, and then with MP3 and everything moving to chips, the disc-based stuff their days were numbered. Anyway, it's a very cool format, and I'm going to go through some of these discs and find one that I can record on. I'm interesting to see. I've got one here. I just going to pick it up off the floor here. I just dropped it, but it says non-functioning sample, and I wonder if I can actually record on that. I think I probably can. Now I hit the eject button. You'll see the head has moved down into place. It's now writing to disk. So it actually saved that information, but it had not written it to disk. So when I hit the eject button, I should have had the camera running there. It actually lowered the recording head down onto the disk and wrote to the disk. I'll put that disk back in and do another edit so you can see it, because it was kind of neat. I missed it with the camera. I'm just curious, this disc that says non-recordable sample, if there's actually something recorded on it. I bet you the disc, there's nothing wrong with it. It was just Sony's way of trying to stop someone from stealing it when they had it sitting on display. Kind of looks like it's recorded, and it looks like there's a bunch of tracks on it. There is. So there you go. Even the one that they had on display, which I stole from work, they had this stuck down on a display, showing off MiniDisc in the shop that I worked. And one day we took the display down, and I ripped the disc off and took it home, and sure enough, it works, even though it says non-functional sample. I'm going to go through some more of these discs and see if I actually have one that I'm okay with erasing. I got some good music here I don't want to dump, but if I can find one that I can free up some space on, I'm going to show you how it records. I put this disc in and nothing worked. Then I looked at the disc. Got all the dust on it. So even though these discs are... Got it all. Even though these discs are in a caddy, they can still get dust in them. And if you have dust on your disc, it's not going to read. disc. Now this is the top side of the disc. This is the side that the recording head makes contact with to record it. Obviously you don't want dirt on there, because if there's dirt on there it's going to gouge the disc when the recording head makes physical contact with the disc to write to it. But anyway, as I say, I'm going through my discs here. I think I got one that I can record on, I found, or at least there's some space left on it so I can record at the end of it. I've been finding some good old music discs that I've totally forgotten about. And even though most of the stuff I've got on my computer now, there is some stuff on here that I don't, so I'm going to be, I'm sure, archiving some of this material onto my system here at some point in the very near future. So this is the disc that was all dusty, and no, it didn't work after wiping it out with the Q-tip, but I just took it out to my garage and blew a gallon of air through it with my air compressor at 90 psi, and now it's reading just fine. So out of this stack of mini discs, there was 4 of them that would not read. All 4 of them were repaired by just blowing some air into them with my Trusky air compressor that I dug out of the garbage bin a few months back. I have found a disc that I'm going to erase. It's actually got some pretty good music on it, but it's just a dump from a CD, as I do have this music all on CD. So without further ado, I don't need to have another copy of it, so I'm going to erase it. And how that's done on a mini disc is you just press the, oh, it's protected. I have to turn the protection off on here. So there's a little tab on here, much like on an 8mm tape. There's a little tab. You just flip that little tab, and now when the disc reads, I'm going to erase the disc, and I'll show you what the write head does here. When I press the edit button, it'll say all erase. Yes. It's saying, wanting me to confirm. Press the yes button again. Complete. Now it says it's a blank disc. If I hit the eject button, watch what this head does up here. It's going to it lowers the head down, and it actually erases the table of contents. Then it raises the head up and ejects the disc. Now this disc is blank. I can load this disc back in, and it'll tell me that the disc is blank and that I have about, I think it's a 60-minute disc, so I have 60 minutes of recording time. I'm going to connect an audio source to this thing, or we're going to make a recording. I'll show you how it works. So I've got my audio source plugged in. I'm ready to record, and to start a recording, I just simply hit the record button, and I'm going to hit pause first because I'm not ready to actually start recording yet. So if I hit record pause, because I've got it plugged into my audio receiver. Oh, I'm actually recording. I didn't hit the pause button quick enough. So we're actually making a recording now. And the disc is spinning. And I don't know if you can see the head, but the head here has been lowered down onto the disc. You can actually hear it, probably because there's dirt on the disc. But you can actually hear it. When the next song starts, I just hit the record button a second time. Like I just hit the record button on the front, and that tells it that that's where the next song starts. So if I'm listening to stuff as it's playing, I can just hit the record button on every track, and it will it'll index it for the next recording. And that's how you make a recording. I'm not going to record a whole disc obviously here. I just record a little bit here. I'm going to stop it. So I press the stop button, and it now lifts the head away. If I press the play button to play it, it should go back and it should play. There it is. There's the recording I made. If I select the AMS to the second track, right, there's the second track I recorded. If I stop it and go back into record again, hit the record button, it'll start recording the third track. Oh, it's not recording it, it's in pause. I have to hit the pause button to start it up. So it's ready to go. When I hit record, it's ready to go. Hit pause to start it. That's the mistake I made the first time. So if I stop this thing, right, it's now written that third track. I just hit the record button and it puts it in pause. You see that? It's not actually recording. It tells me I've got 59 minutes and 29 seconds left. When I'm ready to start my recording, I then hit the pause. It's been so long since I've used this machine. I mean, it's been many, many years. I think I had it in my Thunderbird, which would have been a 95 Thunderbird, I think. So I had the car player. So this would be mid-90s. I should actually look on it because I'm sure there's a date. Anyway, when I stop it, it'll stop recording. And what'll happen here, if you watch, when I hit the eject button, it's going to go and it should write to the disk. It should write the table of contents. So when I hit the eject button, it's going to lower the head down. It's going to write the table of contents. And it's going to move the head out of the way and eject the disk. Now I want to erase that disk because I only got a few minutes recorded on it. Go to table of contents reading. It'll tell me that there's like 4 or 5 tracks or whatever I recorded. 4 tracks. I want to erase it. I just hit the edit button. It'll say all erase. If I hit it again, it'll be name erase, name in. That's where you can actually name the name of the song. But I want to do all erase. So all erase, yes. Comes up with another question mark flashing. I'm going to erase all of them. Are you sure? Yes. Complete. Eject. It lowers the head in place. It writes the table of contents out that I have erased it. And that's it. And now the tape ejects, or the disc ejects, and it's done. We're going to put this thing back together, and I'm going to put this thing back into my little cabinet here and maybe make some use out of it. Hope you enjoyed the repair and demonstration of how a Sony Mini Disc home deck worked. And I hope that some of you out there that might have one of these machines, if you saw the symptom that I was showing at the beginning of the video when I said I wasn't actually going to fix it today, and then went ahead and fixed it. The symptom was you loaded the disk. It said table of contents reading, then it ejected and said error, disk error, something like that. And all I needed to do was just take a Q-tip, one of these things, and just wipe the laser lens off. It had a good coating of dust on it. And that was all that the problem was with this unit, is it was obscuring the laser enough or scattering the beam enough so that it could not focus on the disc. And then of course I had 4 discs that had dust on the disc themselves, and I had to blow them out with a air compressor, but that solved the problem. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Just for the record, there's the date. I said it was like 95 or 96. This unit I bought, this was made in March 96. So that's when I bought this mini disc, and this is what the guts inside looks like. There's the deck, there's the power supply board over here, nice little linear transformer and regular linear power supply, and there's the electronics. Still good after all these years. So this is, now it's 2014, so this unit is 18 years old. And it got a lot of use back in the mid-90s. I used this thing almost every day. So yeah, these were actually quite well built machines.